Let us start discussing oxygen family. Oxygen family contains what are the elements you will see: oxygen, sulfur, selenium, tellurium, polonium. We will see electronic configuration of these. Oxygen electronic configuration is helium 2s2 2p4. Sulfur electronic configuration is neon 3s2 3p4. Selenium argon 3d10 4s2 4p4. Then tellurium electronic configuration will see krypton 4d10 5s2 5p4. Polonium xenon 4f14 5d10 6s2 6p4. These are the electronic configuration of oxygen family elements. So for oxygen family elements electronic configuration we have seen in this one. From selenium onwards some difference we are seeing. Why? Because in the selenium period what is there means 3D elements are there. In tellurium period 4D elements are there. In polonium period 4F series lanthanides is there and 5D elements are there in polonium. Okay, but in oxygen period, sulfur period, D block elements and F block elements not there. Okay, then this oxygen family elements are called chalcogens. Oxygen family elements are called chalcogens, we can say. Why these elements are called chalcogens means because these elements are ore forming elements. Ore forming elements means many ores exist in the form of oxides. Many ores exist in the form of sulfides. So that these elements are called chalcogens because they are forming ores. Suppose if you take amatite, magnetite, these and all, if you see Fe3O4 oxides, iron pyrites, CuFeS2 sulfides. So since they are forming ores, they are called chalcogens, we can say. Then regarding metallic nature and non-metallic nature, we'll see oxygen sulfur non-metals, selenium tellurium metalloids, polonium radioactive metal. Next, all these elements are showing allotropy. That means they are polymorphic. Polymorphic in the sense more than one allotrope they will show. They are polymorphic. That means more than one allotropic form they are existing. They are existing in more than one allotropic form. Therefore, these elements are called polymorphic elements. What is the exception in the sense? Tellurium is exception in this. Okay. Next, physical states we will see. Physical state of oxygen is gas, but sulfur is solid. Why is it so? This oxygen is existing as gas, but sulfur existing as a solid. What is the reason? That we will see. Now, this oxygen size is low, sulfur size is high. Sulfur size is high. Since lower size, it goes for lateral overlap. Lateral overlap, that means pi bonding. Pi bonding is there. Lateral overlap to more extent. Here lateral overlap to less extent. So it forms a pi bonding to more extent. It forms pi bonding to less extent. Therefore, between oxygen atoms, pi bond is possible. That is, a double bond is possible. Between sulfur atoms, double bond is not possible. That means sulfur element, in sulfur element, S double bond S not possible, we can say. But we cannot say always S double bond S not possible. Like that we cannot say. Why? Because now you see this substance. You see this one, this formula you see, This is what in the sense S2O3 2 minus. It is nothing but what? Na2S2O3. Na2S2O3 is what? Sodium thiosulfate, IPO. It is used in photography. Now see, S double bond S is there or not? So where we are saying S double bond S not possible means only in element not possible. Okay. So sulfur is not going for pi bonding with another sulfur in element. Instead of pi bonding, this sulfur exists in the form of what? That we will see. The sulfur exists in the form of like this. Sulfur exists in the form of like this, we can say. Okay, here how many sulfur atoms are there? Will come 2, 4, 8 sulfur atoms should be there. So, but 8 sulfur atoms should be there, like that we will write. So here 2, 4, 4 over here 6. Now here 6, now 8. 2, 4, 6, 8. Like this crown structure will say, crown structure S8, like this it will exist. Sulfur will exist like this instead of like this double bond. But oxygen will exist as O double bond O. So oxygen is existing as a diatomic molecule, but sulfur existing as octatomic molecule. Now size of this oxygen molecule is low. Therefore, here van der Waals force is low. Van der Waals force. It will go for instantaneous dipole, induced instantaneous dipole attraction. Therefore, van der Waals force is low here. Therefore, it is existing as gas. But sulfur molecule, huge size, big size. So, size, surface area is more. So, van der Waals force is more. Therefore, it is existing as solid. So, in the oxygen family, oxygen exists as diatomic molecule. It is gas. But sulfur exists as solid. It is octatomic molecule. Because sulfur is unable to form a pi bond in the elemental state. In the elemental stage, we are saying. Okay. Then we will see catenation tendency. Catenation tendency we'll see. Now see, it is catenation. No? Similar atoms linking with each other. It is called catenation tendency. So from this itself, we can say catenation tendency is highest for sulfur when compared to oxygen. When compared to oxygen, sulfur is having higher catenation power when compared to oxygen. Okay. Sir, in the oxygen family, how the catenation power is there, we'll see oxygen, sulfur, selenium, tellurium, polonium. From sulfur to polonium, if you see, catenation power decreases because bond energy decreases. But oxygen to sulfur, if you see, catenation power increases. Sulfur is having higher catenation power when compared to oxygen. So in the oxygen family, which is having highest catenation power means sulfur, because you can evidence this S8, but oxygen is O2. Sir. And in oxygen, another one is possible. O3 is possible. Ozone is possible. But even here 3 oxygens only. But S8 contains 8 sulfur atoms. Okay. Next we will see oxidation states. We will see oxidation states. This oxygen family elements come under NS2, NP4. So sulfur, NS contains 2 electrons, NP contains 4 electrons like this. So this valency shell, oxygen family elements is having 6 electrons in its valency shell. If it gains 2 electrons, it will get octet. Therefore, it shows -2 oxidation state. Then it can show plus positive oxidation state also. If these 2 unpaired electrons involve in chemical reaction, then it will show +2 oxidation state. Now we will go for excited state configuration. Excited state configuration in the sense, first excited state means from NP, 1 electron goes to ND, D orbital. This electron goes to D. Now 4 unpaired electrons are there. These 4 unpaired electrons involving in chemical reaction means then it can show +4 oxidation state if it has lower electronegativity. Then we will see second excited state. From NS, 1 electron goes to ND. From NS, 1 electron goes to ND, we can say. Now 6 unpaired electrons are there. These 6 unpaired electrons involving in chemical reaction means we can say +6 oxidation state. Now What about stability of these? Stability of +4, stability of +6, down the group we will see. Down the group, how it will be there, stability will see. +4 stability increases down the group, +6 stability decreases down the group. Why is it so? Why +6 stability decreases? Because 4f14 is there in polonium. This 4f14 is not allowing 6s electrons to unpair. Therefore, due to this inert pair effect, +6 stability is low. +6 stability low. Down the group, what happens to the inert pair effect in the sense increases? Down the group, inert pair effect increases. Therefore, +6 stability decreases, +4 stability increases. Then, what about -2 stability? -2 stability. -2 stability decreases down the group because electronegativity decreases down the group. We can say. So, next we will see covalency. Covalency in the sense how many bonds it will make. That is, first we will take oxygen. Oxygen will make, if you take OF2, oxygen makes 2 bonds. In this OF2, fluorine is having high electronegativity. So fluorine shows -1, oxygen shows +2. Then we will take O2F2, we will take O2F2. Fluorine shows -1, oxygen shows +1. Here both are same. Therefore, this bond is shared equally by both. Therefore, don't shift this bond to any one side. Okay. So here -1, here +1. Oxygen shows +1. See, it is common, general. -2, +2, +4, +6 is general. In addition, oxygen shows +1. So oxygen showed +2 and +1. Now we will take water. In water, if you see, oxygen shows -2 because hydrogen shows +1. Oxygen cannot show +4 and +6 because in its valence shell, d orbital is not there. Oxygen valence shell is what? 2s2, 2p4. Is there any 2d? No. Therefore, in the valence shell of oxygen, no vacant orbital is available. So oxygen cannot show +4 and +6. It can show like this. So, next, oxygen can also show -1, -1/2 oxidation numbers also. -1 in peroxide, -1/2 in superoxide. So, covalency of oxygen means oxygen makes 2 bonds like this. Next we will see hydronium ion. Hydronium ion in which oxygen is bonding with 3 hydrogens. So covalency is 3. Oxygen shows covalency 3 here. So what about other elements? Sulfur, selenium, tellurium, polonium and all. Sulfur, if you see SF6, sulfur hexafluoride, in that sulfur shows 6 covalency, 6 covalent bonds it makes. Sulfur shows 6 covalency, selenium shows 6 covalency, but oxygen in hydronium ion 3 covalency. Hydronium ion 3 covalency possible for oxygen. Generally 2 for oxygen. Then we will take hydrides of oxygen family elements. We will take hydrides of oxygen family elements. Hydrides in the sense H2O, H2S, H2S, H2SE, H2TE, H2PO. Okay. So hydrogen polonide, hydrogen telluride, hydrogen selenide, hydrogen sulfide, it is water. Now we will see melting point, we will see, and boiling point we will see. Melting point. Melting point of water we will take. Melting point of water is 273 Kelvin. H2S is 188 Kelvin. H2SE is 208 Kelvin. H2T is 222 Kelvin. Okay, now here down the group, melting point decreases. Down the group, melting point, what happens means that means from H2S to H2TE, if we see, melting point increases, we can say. Melting point increases. Why? Because size increases, van der Waals force increases. Size increases, therefore van der Waals force increases. Like that we can explain. Generally, in some cases, how we will explain melting point means based on extent of close packing, we will explain. Here we are explaining melting point based on van der Waals force in this place. In the same way, in the same explanation we have given in the hydrides of fifth year group elements also. That means ammonia, phosphine, arsine is there. No, there also we have given like this only. So from hydrogen sulfide to hydrogen telluride, melting point increases because down the group size of sulfur, selenium, tellurium increases. Therefore, van der Waals force increases, we can say. Water to hydrogen sulfide. Water to hydrogen sulfide melting point decreases. Why? Because in water, hydrogen bonding is the intermolecular force, whereas in H2S, van der Waals force is the intermolecular force. Therefore, here intermolecular force is hydrogen bond. That strength is more when compared to van der Waals force. Therefore, melting point is high. Like this, we are explaining. But in the carboxylic acids and all, we will explain melting point used based on extent of close packing. But here we are explaining based on van der Waals force and hydrogen bonding. Based on intermolecular force, we are explaining. Okay, that means we have to see the experimental fact. For the given experimental fact, what is the suitable reasoning that we have to give. So then we'll see boiling point of these hydrides. We'll see. Now we are going for boiling point. Now we'll take water, hydrogen sulfide, hydrogen selenide, hydrogen telluride, hydrogen polonide we will take. Now we'll give the boiling point. We'll give boiling point of water is 373 Kelvin. Boiling point of water. H2S is 213 Kelvin. H2SC 232. H2TE 269. Sir, what happens to the melting point if you see from H2S to H2TE? If we go, the boiling point increases. Why? Because size of central atom increases. Therefore, van der Waals force increases, we can say. From water to H2S, why? What happens? That we'll see. Water melting, the boiling point. Boiling point of water is high, H2S is low. Boiling point decreases from water to H2S because here hydrogen bond is there. Here van der Waals force is there. Due to hydrogen bond, it has high boiling point, we can say. In this group, out of these H2O, H2S, H2SC, H2TE, water has highest boiling point. Okay, and the melting point, if you see, water has highest melting point, we can say. Water has highest melting point. Sorry. Next, we will see bond length. We will see how the bond length is there. So in water, we will take in the water this OH bond length. We will see this OH bond length. This OH bond length, if you see how much is there, means 96 picometer. 96 picometer we are saying. So H2S, if you see what is the bond length, means 134. Why increases? Means size of sulfur is more than oxygen. Therefore H2SC we will take, selenium size is more than sulfur, so bond length is more 146. Then H2TE we will take, tellurium size is more than selenium, therefore bond length increases, that is 169. Next we will see bond angle. We will see bond angle of water we will take. Now water we will take, in water oxygen is having 2 lone pairs. Now oxygen is having 2 sigma bonds. Oxygen is having 2 sigma bonds and 2 lone pairs, therefore 4 electron pairs. Okay, but because of the lone pairs, the bond angle is not 109 degree 28 minutes. If a perfect tetrahedral means 4 sigma bonds will be there. Tetrahedral means perfect tetrahedral. We will take example methane. In methane, central atom is carbon. Surrounding atoms 4 hydrogen atoms. Methane is perfect tetrahedral. In methane, bond angle is 109 degree 28 minutes. But in water, it is not tetrahedral because of lone pairs. Why it is not tetrahedral? Because of lone pairs. Lone pair repulsion is more when compared to lone pair bond pair. It is more when compared to bond pair. Therefore, bond pairs are coming closer. Lone pairs are getting distanced. Distance between lone pairs become high. Distance between bond pairs becomes low. Therefore, bond angle of water is getting reduced. Reduced to how much? Means 104.5 degree. And in this water, oxygen shows sp3 hybridization. Sir, Now we will take H2S, we will take in the H2S, what is the bond angle? We'll see. In the H2S, sulfur is having 2 lone pairs and 2 sigma bonds. Bond angle, if you see 92°, the bond angle is nearly 90°, but that means sulfur is providing which orbitals for overlapping. We'll see. Sulfur valence shell contains 3s2, 3p4. The 3p4 means 2 unpaired electrons present. These 2 unpaired electrons involving in bonding with the hydrogen. That means pure p orbitals involving in bonding with the hydrogen. Therefore, the bond angle is nearly 90°, because between p orbitals the angle is 90°. Okay. Next we will take H2SC. H2SC bond angle is 91°. Same explanation as like H2S we can give. H2TE we will take the bond angle is 90°. Same explanation as like H2SC. That means in H2S, H2SC, H2TE bond angle is nearly 90, because from the valence shell pure p orbitals involving in bonding with hydrogen atoms from the central atom. But in the case of oxygen, pure p orbitals is not involving in bonding with hydrogens. sp3 hybrid orbitals is involving in bonding. Okay. Next we will see the bond angle. Down the group, what happens to the bond angle? Down the group, bond angle decreases. Why is it so? That we'll see. Now, oxygen is more electronegative than sulfur. Therefore, this bond pair is more closer to oxygen. This bond pair is not closer to oxygen. So, bond pair density near the sulfur is less. Bond pair density near the oxygen is high. Therefore, here bond pair repulsion is more. Here bond pair repulsion is less. Therefore, bond pairs coming much closer. Therefore, bond angle is less when compared to this. Okay. So here you see that oxygen is more electronegative than sulfur. So this bond pair is more closer to oxygen than sulfur. So bond pair density near oxygen is more when compared to sulfur. Therefore, bond pair repulsion is more here when compared to this. Therefore, here bond pair repulsion is more. Therefore, bond pairs are somewhat far away. Therefore, bond angle is more here. Here bond pair repulsion is less. So bond pairs are much closer. Therefore, bond angle is less. So down the group, if we see central atom electronegativity decreases, so bond pair density near the central atom decreases, bond pair repulsion decreases down the group. Therefore, bond pairs are coming closer and closer in down the group. Therefore, bond angle decreases down the group. Okay, so we can say bond angle decreases down the group. We can say. Sorry. Next, we will see about bond dissociation energy. Bond dissociation energy. What is the value for water? That we'll see. Bond dissociation energy. For water, 463 kilojoule per mole. Water will take H2O liquid, H2O gas will take. Here we will break. That means in water, OH bond will take OH bond. This bond will break and will convert this into oxygen atom in gas state, hydrogen atom in gas state. To break this bond, how much energy we have to supply in the sense 463 kilojoule per mole. Okay. Then we will take H2S. In H2S, we will take SH bond. Let us break this bond. We will get sulfur in gas state, hydrogen in gas state. For this, we have to supply energy in order to break this bond. How much energy we have to supply in the sense 347 kilojoule per mole we have to supply. Now see, for which more energy we are supplying? For OH bond. To break OH bond, more energy we are supplying when compared to SH bond. Why? Oxygen small size, sulfur size is high. So this bond strength is here overlapping tendency is more. Here overlapping to less extent. Here strength is more. Here strength is less. Therefore, it requires more energy for breaking. It requires